Let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings. So let's take a look past last year at their offensive stats, team stats for 2022. They were 7th in yards per game, 6th in passing yards per game, 27th in rushing yards per game, and 8th in points per game. They had a good offense. I mean, obviously they won the division for the reason, for obviously a reason. So again, I'm excited for this offense. Again, you lose Dalvin Cook, which I think initially will be a big problem, but I think down the line of the year, I think, we'll finally get it right. And I'm a big fan of one of the running backs on their team that I think can kind of shock people and come out as a surprise. But obviously, I think they got better when it comes to the passing game. You got a good offensive line. You got Kirk Cousins, who it really depends. He could take a jump. He could decline. It's really, or he could just be there. He's one of those guys where it's like he can help a team, but he's just average. He's not going to elevate a team to a Super Bowl, in my opinion. But we'll see. And obviously, you have Justin Jefferson, in my opinion, the best wide receiver in the league. And then you also have Jordan Addison, who you drafted, who I think is an upgrade from Adam Thielen. And I don't think that's crazy to say. I like KJ Osborne. You're going to get TJ Hawkinson for a full season now. So I think this passing game definitely got better. We'll see what the rushing game and the run game looks like this year. So let's see. Now let's talk about this depth chart. Obviously, you got Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins didn't have a bad year last year. He obviously made some bad decisions. To end the playoff game, he threw it short of the sticks. That didn't make sense to me. You look at Kirk Cousins' stats last year. He had 4,500 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. So he had a good season. Maybe want to lower it down on those interceptions, but again, Kirk Cousins is a quarterback that can get you to the playoffs, but I don't think he can get you to a Super Bowl. And that's why I think they should have drafted Will Levis. I think Will Levis could sit behind Kirk Cousins for a year or two, develop, learn the other guys on the team, and let him start when Kirk Cousins' contract is up, or retires, or you just let him go. Now you talk about the running backs. No more Dalvin Cook. You got Alexander Madison as the starting running back, but the guy I'm really excited about is Dwayne McBride, the rookie. I don't know why it's a different color. I meant to put it as like the light blue, but a big fan of Dwayne McBride. I'm surprised he fell to, I think, the 7th round. He is a powerful back. I think he is a smaller back, if I'm not mistaken. But again, he's powerful. He absolutely did insane things in the Conference USA last year. It was insane. Let me look him up really quick. Let me see if I can find his stats. He dominated. He dominated Conference USA last year. He went for 1,700 yards on the ground, 19 touchdowns, and he averaged 7.4 yards per carry. I don't care that it was the Conference USA. That's impressive. And the fact that he went in the 7th round absolutely blows my mind. I like Alexander Madison. Ty Chandler's nice, but I think Dwayne McBride honestly could find himself as the starting running back by the end of the year. And I think he'll be an absolute beast. Or maybe it's not. Maybe he doesn't start, and it's a running back by committee with Alexander Madison and also Dwayne McBride, and that could happen. I'm a big fan of Alexander Madison. I think he'll be great as a starter going on, but I think as soon as Dwayne McBride gets integrated into this offense, their rushing game can skyrocket, in my opinion. I don't think Dwayne McBride will be a top 10 running back, but he'll be a damn good running back, a good running back. So let's take a look at this receiving core. You look at the top guys. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, KJ Osborne, a great wide receiver trio. And then you get TJ Hawkinson, again, in my opinion, a top 10 tight end, maybe a top 5 tight end. I would have to, look at everything and all that, but he's a great tight end. You got Josh Oliver, maybe a little bit of an overpay, but again, I'm not going to nitpick that. He's a fine blocking tight end. So again, this receiving core should definitely help out Kirk Cousins. This should help out the running game. Obviously, Justin Jefferson's still going to get his double teams, but now you also got to look for somebody like Jordan Addison, who should be a lot more explosive than Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen's like 32 years old, Jordan Addison's like 21, 22. Again, and I think he's arguably already a better receiver. And then you have obviously KJ Osborne, who is also a really good wide receiver that could kill you. You're looking at Jordan Addison, you're double teaming Justin Jefferson. Boom, KJ Osborne's, just caught a 75-yard touchdown. He's a great wide receiver, and obviously you got to worry about TJ Hawkinson. Let's take a look at their offensive line. This is a good offensive line in my opinion. You got Christian Darrisaw, one of the best left tackles in the league. You got Ezra Cleveland, who's a serviceable left guard. Garrett Bradbury, who is one of the best centers in the league. And then you got Ed Ingram, who is going into his second year. And you also got Brian O'Neill. So this left side in the center, I love Christian Darrisaw. Ed Ingram and Brian O'Neill. Brian O'Neill's a nice right tackle. We'll see what happens with Ed Ingram. Don't know too much about him personally. But, if they like him. Again, this is projected all off our lads, so Ed Ingram might not start. We'll see. Maybe they bring in somebody else. But, again, I think Christian Darrisaw on this left side is going to be the main point, going to be really good on the blind side. I know Christian Darrisaw had a concussion during the season, so if he's coming back fully healthy, he will be an absolute monster on that left side. And again, like I said with the lines, this is what happens. The offensive line is what makes teams go, especially in offense. They give him time, Kirk Cousins can make the plays. He can absolutely go out there and throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. And, give time. You give him more time for Justin Jefferson to get open. Jordan Addison to get open. And so I'm excited for that. And if this offensive line can help out the running game and provide holes and provide space for running backs, this running back, offense may be better than last year with no Dalvin Cook. So we'll see. But again, Kirk Cousins is an average quarterback, but he can get the Vikings to the playoffs. We'll see what happens with their rushing game. I love Dwayne McBride. The receivers, amazing. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, absolutely amazing. And the offensive line is, the main part of this offense that I absolutely love in. So let's go ahead and talk about this defense now. You look at last year's 2022 defensive team stats. They're 31st in allowed yards per game, 31st in allowed passing yards per game, 20th in allowed rushing yards, and 28th in allowed points. This defense was terrible last year, but I expect this defense to make a jump. You bring in defensive coordinator Brian Flores, who was absolutely amazing as the defensive guy in Miami. He did good with the Steelers. I'm surprised what was he, like a linebacker coach or something in Pittsburgh? 1 year now he's already a defensive coordinator and could find himself as a head coach next year. So this defense should definitely already be upgraded and should be better just based off a better coach. So I'm excited for that. You look at the secondary, which can be good. It can be really good. And, it's a big boomer bust. I love Byron Murphy. Stats-wise, he may not look that good, but he's a good coverage guy. And I think this signing was absolutely huge for Minnesota. Caleb Evans is somebody who's definitely risen up into with the starting lineup. And Mekhi Blackman, who they just drafted out of USC, can definitely be pretty solid. And Andrew Booth Jr., who they drafted, I believe, in the first round, maybe the second round, I believe, in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. The thing about this defense is that they're betting a lot on the development of the young players. Andrew Booth is one of that guys. You look at the safeties, Louis Sine, however you say his last name, is one of those guys. You got Harrison Smith at the safety position, who I'm definitely excited for. Obviously, I'm saying he's 25 years old. He's like 32. But he is a veteran player that this defense needs. He's not as athletic as he used to be. He's not as speedy as he used to be. But his IQ and knowledge is off the charts. And that's why he's still one of the best safeties in the league. And then you have Cam Bynum, who's pretty young, who should definitely complement Harrison Smith well. Again, we'll see what happens with Louis Sine or Sine, however you say his name. Because that's another guy where they're hoping for the development. Same thing with Andrew Booth Jr. So this secondary, I think, has improved from last year. But again, you're still hoping for the development of these younger players. And that's the same thing here with this front seven. You have Danielle Hunter coming off the edge, outside linebacker for the linebackers, who may or may not be on the team next year. I know they're still working out some contract details. He might get traded. He might not. We'll see. But if he does play, he's really going to be helpful for this Vikings defense. They lost Adarius Smith. They lost Eric Kendricks. But honestly, I'm not worried about the Eric Kendricks loss. I'm not that worried about this Adarius Smith loss. You bring in Brian Asamoah, who they drafted in 2022, who I'm a big fan of Brian Asamoah. I think he can go out there and replace Eric Hicks. And it's not going to be just him. You have Jordan Hicks, who I think, or not Eric Hicks, Eric Kendricks. You have Jordan Hicks, who I think, again, will absolutely help out Brian Asamoah. But I think that Brian Asamoah will be the main guy in the middle of the defense. And then you have Marcus Davenport, who is going to be coming off the edge, going to be in that outside linebacker, edge rusher type of role where I'm excited for. And the signing was good. It's a downgrade from Zadarius Smith. but I don't think it's that big of a downgrade. I don't think, he's not going to be that bad of a downgrade. He'll be a great guy coming off the edge, though, stats-wise, it may not look good, but I like him. I do love Marcus Davenport. And then you look at the defensive line. You got Andrew Dean. Yeah. No, Dean Lowry, not Andrew Dean, Dean Lowry. So I'm excited for this defensive line. I think it will improve. I don't know. Maybe I'm not excited for it. But Dean Lowry's a nice pickup from the Packers. Harrison Phillips is fine. DJ Wonnum, I think, can be a great player. You drafted Jacqueline Roy, who can be pretty solid on that interior. But you're mainly hoping for these outside linebackers, these linebackers, to really help out on the edge and with the pass rush and the run defense. So we'll see. I think this is their weakest point on the defense. I do love the secondary. I do love the linebackers, but this defensive line is going to need some upgrades. Either that be this offseason during the season, maybe sign somebody like a good defensive lineman. I was gonna say Yannick Ngakoue, but I mean he could definitely help out. But defensive linemen, they can still make moves. We're still in the middle of the boring offseason, but the Vikings, I'm excited. I think they can genuinely be one of the best teams in the league. No, I'm not saying they're going to be as good as next year, because you look at how many games they won in a one score game or whatever like that. Blah blah blah. I think they're underrated. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below, what did I get right and wrong about this team? And subscribe while you're at it. And hit the notification bell if you're still waiting for your team to get talked about. And if you want to see the full preview of this team's division, go ahead. The video should be on the screen right now. Peace out.